Senator Maanzo,
yes.
What is the state of the independence of the judiciary at this time if you're having petitions to move an entire bench? There are not so many, but there's that petition.
Well, I'm surprised Senator Veronica Maina seemed to be very naive. I want to tell her that I was one
naive.
of...
Are you sure you want to use that title?
Please allow him to finish.
Let me just tell you, because I am one of the people actually who've been previously approached by people associated with the government to move such a petition. So there has been such plans, and I declined because I didn't find sufficient grounds. And you know that the Chief Justice Kome, you see the level of Chief Justice, the level of Inspector General, they are public officers which are actually political.
Yep.
You remember how she was appointed at the time of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Mm-hmm. So a different regime may be uncomfortable.
What do you mean it's a political appointment?
The way you process the Chief Justice, you see, it's processed through Parliament. Mm-hmm. And there's a way Parliament is mobilized to have a certain Chief Justice appointed. You know that it's a matter of numbers. You go through an interview, and then there's a vote. And that's how you become appointed as a Chief Justice or Deputy Chief Justice.
The recruitment of a Chief Justice is first interviews by the Judicial Service Commission.
Yes.
So where do political numbers come in?
Names first, you know names are proposed. Uh-huh. And then, people apply.
Yeah.
And then they are sieved out. But finally, the decision is made in Parliament.
Yeah, but do you have a choice? I mean,
if Parliament rejects a name which is brought for a reason or two, if a name is rejected, and in the past names have been rejected for IBC, etc. So I want to say that that appointment in itself is political in nature.
Which name was rejected for IBC committee? Understand with what is going on?
You know, first of all, there are no consultations to be done. Consultations have already been done. The decision is between two people, Raila Odinga and William Ruto. In fact, immediately after that, they did a rally. And you saw friend Hassan Joho, already engaging the public. So public participation is over. What has happened is that President William Ruto has handed over power to Raila Odinga, except the sword.
What do you mean handed over power?
You know, under the Constitution, supreme power, the power of the Kenyans belong to the people. And remember, we went to the same Supreme Court now. They want to delete, to petition a stolen election. And we had overwhelming evidence, and we were described as hot air. Now, the power belongs to the people. The people with Raila Odinga. The opposition now is in government. And therefore, what else is William Ruto going to do in this country? He's handed over power.
That's a lovely one. The opposition is in government.
The opposition now has formed government. He's the one calling shots in government. And therefore, I don't know what President William Ruto is going to do other than just keeping the symbolic sword. All the other power will be executed. Also, the High Court ruled very well that at the time of voting, and that's the time the nation decides majority and minority, other than the stolen MPs. At the time of voting...
What do you mean stolen MPs?
Stolen MPs?
Yeah, they were stolen. They are all bought thereafter immediately.
Still MPs?
Are they returned? Or they are still stolen?
As of the people's decision, Azimio had majority. The High Court has settled on that, although things are different now that there is broad-based. Now, when you think of broad-based, you see political parties for their coalitions in the country, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Now, when you say broad-based government, then you have invited people into government. It means at some point there must be some agreements. And it means there must be rearrangement of the coalitions at some point. And it means then you have to identify who will be the minority at some point, because also people are migrated to join government. And at that particular moment, that's why I'm saying the smile on Raila's face while he was doing this new handshake
You have a name for it, new handshake.
Yeah, it's a new handshake, and it was very emphatic.
It's there behind the screen.
Yes, it was very emphatic because the one of Uhuru Kenyatta was soft. This one was loud and clear, you know.
Hard.
It was very hard. And therefore, that's why I've made the conclusion that after 25th, some consultations went on, and the first speech President Ruto made was that some criminals went to Parliament. And by the way, if you are to try these criminals, how many, you wouldn't have enough magistrates or enough courts to do it. And the truth of the matter is it was a revolution. And the Gen Zs were neither Azimio nor Kenya Kwanza. They were just Kenyans, who were brilliant Kenyans who know what should be happening. And they told the president, there you, go on and sign the finance bill, and we will be with you on Thursday. And it was now on a second thought that he decided to delete this finance bill, and there's never been a finance bill ever. And I'm wondering now whether the new government is going to bring back a finance bill, and whether Kenyans will accept it.
New government?
Yes, a new government has already been formed between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. And it may be an unpopular government to the people of Kenya. The main idea is service.
What does that mean? Unpopular?
Yes, so suppose the Kenyans rejected, just like the way they rejected the Kenya Kwanza government. Kenya Kwanza government was rejected by the people on 25th June, and the parliament overran. I was there. Everything was turned upside down in parliament. It took a long time.
Hiding in the tunnels.
The members were hiding in tunnels. In fact, if that tunnel was never there, over 100 members of parliament would have been died. So and then there's no IBC even to conduct by-elections.
Where are you hiding?
So I just climbed to the top building and was watching from up there.
Bunge Towers.
And that Bunge Tower thing, you have no way of getting away from it. Should the citizens begin a fire at the ground floor, it doesn't even have an helipad. So we are saying Kenyans must be listened to. And whatever handshakes do and whatever political parties do should be for the benefit of Kenyans. And that's why we have elections after every 5 years.
Yep.
And we are not a one-party state. We are a multi-party state. And therefore, now that clearly a new formation has been made, it means then we must have the people's
You're so certain
opposition.
that it has already been formed.
I am very experienced.
I don't know why my colleague is insisting now that power has been handed and using very big words.
Yes, I am very experienced in how political parties make decisions. The deal is already done.
Yeah.
And most probably was done in Addis Ababa. You heard the president there making an acceptance speech that Raila Odinga is in government, and we have given him what belongs to him. That's simply what William Ruto has done. His speech and the demeanor, and how he spoke about how we are going back to fix things. He has simply given back to Raila Odinga what belongs to him. Simple. What is going to be worked on is a referendum. You remember we had NADCO, and for you to make the amendments proposed in the NADCO, you've got to amend the constitution. So the country is either going to experience a referendum to approve this, because you have seen in Mombasa there is already public participation, and the decision cannot be reversed as it is in Mombasa. And there is going to be a week. There is going to be a week of honeymoon to harmonize, the political systems, and that's the reality. But it's an illegitimate formation, because the constitution does not know this, and therefore I believe there is going to be an effort so that there is a referendum for the people of Kenya to decide now on this sort of structure. And this referendum can happen now, when we have a lot of financial challenges, or happen during the election. There can be a referendum question in the next general election, so that decisions can be made on that particular...
What particular elements do you expect at the referendum question?
Like the issue of prime ministership. A proper prime minister, not the chief cabinet secretary. Situation be enjoyed by Musalia Mudavadi. You need this country to deal with that issue. They are talking about tribalism. Although tribalism seems to be used against others, not for the unity of everybody. The moment somebody is already eating, they think others are become tribalists. And the moment that
stopping them from eating.
Yes, and the moment that person loses again, they go to the streets. So the country needs a situation whereby you have harmony after elections. And one of the key issues which has been a question for a long time is the prime ministership. And I think this is the time that question is going to be addressed, either through a referendum or a referendum at the election, or government institutions are weakened. EACC is weakened, now the courts are being weakened. The solution is with the people of Kenya. And that's why you saw the Gen Z uprising. It was not without basis. I really want to encourage the Gen Zs. One of the ways to best do this is at election. That's the time now Kenyans choose. And I really want to urge Kenyans now to choose wisely, because the government you choose, you have to live with it for 5 years or have troubles as we are having now. And therefore, I would encourage the Gen Zs, first of all, to acquire identity cards and then register as voters, and also encourage the 8 million Kenyans who never voted last time, this time to vote out a government which is perpetrating corruption and which has driven the country into the situation we are. The biggest problem of the country is simply corruption. So we have enough resources, they are being mismanaged.
Because your party leader considers himself as the leader of opposition, correct me if I'm wrong.
Is the people's leader of opposition.
Leader of opposition.
Yes.
So what is his strategy? Because you can see what William Ruto is doing.
Well, we'll come up with a better strategy. I don't think Raila Odinga has gone to help William Ruto at all. He's only stabilizing the government for some time, and I'm sure he will make an effort to weed out corruption or to assist so that Ruto may survive to 2027. Because we need the nation at the end of the day.
Post-27?
Post-27, then the people of Kenya will decide. And that's why we are saying the people's opposition, an opposition is a government in waiting, should offer better than what William Ruto is offering. And Kenyans should make that decision. We should only have fair structures, an IBC, which is fair to Habitat, to make sure that Kenyans get the right government. All Kenyans want the right thing. All Kenyans want a good government. All Kenyans want development. All Kenyans want a united nation without tribalism. But what we have right now is pretense and just mere talk, while the real act is the opposite of what people are saying. So we all need our nation together, and we all need our nation back. And I can only throw this challenge to Kenyans to be ready for the next election, to weed out this government full of corruption.
Senator Maanzo,
yes.
What is the state of the independence of the judiciary at this time if you're having petitions to remove an entire bench? There are not so many, but there's that petition.
Well, I'm surprised Senator Veronica Maina seemed to be very naive. I want to tell her that I was one
naive.
of...
Are you sure you want to use that title?
Please allow him to finish.
Let me just tell you, because I am one of the people actually who've been previously approached by people associated with the government to move such a petition. So there has been such plans, and I declined because I didn't find sufficient grounds. And you know that the Chief Justice Kome, you see the level of Chief Justice, the level of Inspector General, they are public officers which are actually political.
Yep.
You remember how she was appointed at the time of President Uhuru Kenyatta. So a different regime may be uncomfortable.
What do you mean it's a political appointment?
The way you process the Chief Justice, you see, it's processed through Parliament. And there's a way Parliament is mobilized to have a certain Chief Justice appointed. You know that it's a matter of numbers. You go through an interview, and then there's a vote. And that's how you become appointed as the Chief Justice or Deputy Chief Justice.
The recruitment of a Chief Justice is first interviews by the Judicial Service Commission.
Yes.
So where do political numbers come in?
Names first, you know, names are proposed. And then, people apply.
Yeah.
And then they are sieved out. But finally, the decision is made in Parliament.
Yeah, but do you have a choice? I mean,
if Parliament rejects a name which is brought for a reason or two. If a name is rejected, and in the past names have been rejected for IBC, etc. So I want to say that that appointment in itself is political in nature.
Which name was rejected for IBC commissioners?
You remember, not for IBC commissioners, a chair. You remember days ago, there was an advocate of High Court of Kenya, and the Honorable Millie brought up an issue on the floor of the House, and that name was dropped. It happens.
Whose name?
You remember, if you jog back into history.
No, I'm asking, who is this was rejected by Parliament? Because I have no record.
Yes, there's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, I don't want to mention him here, who was rejected, when he was just about to become a chair of the IBC Commission. So Parliament can move in a certain way and reject.
Sorry, a name came from the President to Parliament for IBC appointment, approval hearings, and it was rejected?
Yes, those days. The IBC Act has kept on being improved. So the point I'm trying to make is that at that level, so long as a name is being processed in Parliament, it's likely to be political. And so long as you are hired in a political way, then you are likely to be removed politically. And I want to state categorically that the current Chief Justice and even the Supreme Court are being removed politically. It's not that they've done anything so serious. So we want to see how they're going to be processed. The JSC is supposed to hear. She sits in that, so it means she's going to step aside so that the rest of the JSC members can make a determination. That determination can still be challenged in a court of law. And that's why you see already they have made challenges, and especially if the petition does not disclose, a reason. And therefore you cannot divorce politics out of this. The Chief Justice is simply be hounded out of office politically.
That's what I'm asking. Is there any particular reason why, apart from the insinuation about politics?
In the petition it must plead the grounds, and then each one of those grounds must be proved. Is she corrupt? If somebody has evidence, they should tender. If she isn't, you cannot simply remove her based on that. And eventually, even at the JC is going to be a vote. And then you see whatever decision they make, because it's an administrative decision, can be challenged in a court of law.
Okay, all right.